Me, Julia O'Connell. I'm going to give you some tips and a survival guide to help you if you are ever in a situation where you need to leave an abusive relationship. These are some questions that you might want to ask in your everyday life about your relationship. Is he interested in every aspect of your daily life and refuses you to leave or even have a casual conversation without listening in on it? Does he refuse to permit her to leave home alone, even to go to work? Has he suggested moving away from community in which her friends and family members live? These are all important questions to ask when you're in a relationship because men have a tendency to do this to control women, and they do it out of fear and other things. Or they could be jealous. Does he refuse to let her friends associate with her, or business colleagues, or friends outside of their relationship? Does he insist on picking up the mail, then censor it before she sees it? Is she forbidden to seek medical attention? I've seen this where in many cases of abuse and neglect, the ex or the boyfriend will not allow a woman to seek medical attention, especially if there's bruises on her face or bruises anywhere. And abusive relationships are not limited to physical abuse. It could also be mental, and it could also be affecting their psychological care. Like, it could be a psychological abuse. Like, he could be saying some of the most vile and gross things to a woman and it not be okay. Okay, when he's jealous, is he jealous that he becomes suspicious of her every action? This is a question to ask if you are in an abusive relationship. Is he possessive? Does he dictate what her every move should be? Does he accuse her of trying to attract other men by her walking by? Her choice of clothing, the way of her talking, her hairstyle, or her makeup? Or her actions? Like, he could be very, an abusive person can be very jealous of the fact of how you are dressed, or if you're attractive, or if you are wearing your hair different, or wearing different makeup. Is she permitted to keep her job? This is a big deal. Anyone escaping an abusive relationship, you really should be really independent and allow yourself to work and allow yourself to have a credit card, because in a lot of cases when women are married and they're trying to escape their abusive ex, they have credit cards that are joint. So it's always good to have a credit card that is in your name, so that way if you do escape, you can use that. A lot of these survival guides are really good. Like this is also very serious, because in my case of my abusive ex, he was an alcoholic and a drug addict. He would do cocaine on end, and he would shoot it up intravenously. Does he refuse to admit that he has a problem? Does he insist that the only social drinker or drug user? Does he say things like, I can stop anytime I want to? This is a red flag, because most people who are addicted to drugs, they cannot stop anytime that they say that they can. I was given this survival guide, and it's really good. When you have an abusive relationship, you are unable to function emotionally. And because he's using psychological abuse on you and making you think that you are the problem and you're not the problem, you have every right to escape your abusive ex. I did that with my abusive ex, Jamie. I ended up having to go into a battered women's shelter. And then my friend Jay, like 2 weeks after that happened, I was allowed to stay with him in his house. He was an exceptional friend at that time, because here Jamie had killed my cat and had destroyed my self-worth. And every time I speak about it, it makes me more empowered and want to help others who are leaving abusive relationships. How does he deal with stress? Because a lot of times when you're in an abusive relationship, they don't deal with stress very well. They have an anger management problem. Okay. Sometimes when you're in an abusive relationship, they can make diverse comments about women drivers, or calling them dumb, or insulting them, using demeaning terms such as broads or chicks or gals or babes when he speaks about women. Does he feel strongly about relative positions of men and women? His childhood recollections, does he come from an abusive home too as well? Some men come from abusive homes where they've seen their own fathers beat their mothers up. This is absolutely true. Was he battered as a child? Is there something lacking in his life? This could be absolutely true. And this could save a woman's life. So please repost this video. Please help a woman escape her abusive ex. Make an escape plan. Have all your essential papers, like your birth certificate, your driver's license, any type of cash that you might have saved, in an escape bag. And have as much clothes as you want to take in that escape bag, and your toiletries and other items and your medications. This will help you leave your abusive relationship. This is eyes wide opening. I mean, this is a packet that they gave me when I left my abusive ex. Has he ever slipped alcohol or drugs into her beverage? A lot of times when women are in an abusive relationship, this happens all the time. This happened in the case of Danny Masterson, where he was charged with forcibly raping women. They can also have critical thinking against the person that they are with. Like, they can have negative thoughts about her, or they could have horrible opinions about their relationship. Does he make you question your own abilities? Does he make you question your own thinking? Does he say negative things about your friends and family? This should be a red flag to anyone who is in an abusive relationship. And abusive relationships, they do try to isolate you. They try to isolate you from family and friends. In my case with my ex, Jamie, I was isolated from my mother. I was isolated from my friends and my family. Even female friends, like my friend Carrie. My abusive ex, Jamie, he had a huge anger management issue. I can tell you, he was not a nice guy. And he's still out there. I've seen his Facebook profile. I don't go into his Facebook profile, but I know he's on Facebook. So this is why I have to protect myself. I have to protect myself because his control really did hurt me. And anytime I talk out about this, it makes me more empowered to want to help women and help women escape their abusive exes. Because sometimes they might just need a little help escaping. Sometimes people stay because they aren't financially able to do so. This is why it's so important to get a credit card in your own name, to hide funds and put it in an escape bag. That way, you have a plan of action that you can take to escape. Even if you have to go to a temporary shelter like a battered women's shelter or a homeless shelter like Mary Mother of Hope House 1 and 2. They are there for women, and they are also there for women with children who are leaving their abusive, and they have a caseworker that will help you get a plan together, get your resume together, help you do things to help you survive your abusive ex. I really hope some of this stuff is valuable for people, because I know for me, escaping my abusive ex was the best thing I've ever done in my life. And it's not criticism about anyone. I know that there are women that are too afraid to leave, or when they do leave, the ex tries to do something to her. So we just need to come together and fight to save women in our communities. And isolation is a big thing, because when you are isolated from your family and friends, it makes it difficult for you to have an escape plan. At least with my mother, she helped me out big time, because I owed so much money after what had happened to me. I owed over $10,000, and I could not have survived without her help. And we did a lot of things that helped recover my dignity. And I suggest anyone in an abusive relationship get counseling, because after you leave, you're going to need that counseling and that support to help you with your transition in life and the transition to being autonomous, like being able to care for yourself, be able to uplift yourself, be able to find a job that you love. Sadly, I had to give up my dream job to move down to the beach because it was a family decision. We were all going to move to the beach. I gave up my dream job helping with animals to move down to the beach. And it's the best thing I've ever done, though, to move down to the beach, be closer to my family, help with my mom when she needs help. I do these kinds of things on my daily life. I try to help others. This guide will also help you see warning signs in your own relationship if you are in an abusive relationship. Sometimes men don't realize what they are doing is harmful to women. I've had men come into the grocery store and say, "Oh yeah, women shouldn't be working." Women should be working. That's a sexist statement right there. That could be considered abusive. Just do everything in your power to escape your abusive ex, even if you have to move to a different state and change your name. Because I also had to unlist my number and hide my number, my new number. Because they can track you down. Like if they have friends in law enforcement, they can track you down if you don't do things that are beneficial to yourself to escape. Escaping is better than being dead, and it's better than having animals in your care die at the hands of an abusive person. And I'm glad I escaped my ex. I'm glad I can talk about this, and I'm glad I can help anyone who wants help leaving their abusive exes. There are many resources in your state. Just Google it, because it could save your life. And I really hope everyone has had a beautiful Ash Wednesday. I really hope everyone is doing well. I really hope everyone can support their family and friends and do the things that they love. And I haven't decided what I'm going to give up yet. I'll figure that out for Lent. And it means that our month in February is moving really quickly. Just take time for your family and friends. Do the things you love. Support things in your life that makes you happy. That makes your well-being happy. That's what I'm going to focus on now. And I'm also going to do another Scientology video tomorrow. And it's all about L. Ron Hubbard and Source. So, thank you and have a wonderful day. Take time for your family and friends. I really hope this is helpful to spot the warning signs if you are in an abusive relationship. Because there are many, many, many things that can be happening. And also, when you're in a relationship where the person is addicted to drugs, they have no self-esteem. They are paranoid, and they're more likely to abuse a woman. Thank you and have a great day. Take time for your family and friends. Do the things you love.